This time on Past Deadline, this week's news in 60 seconds, and we talk with staff reporter Patrick Bouman about student reaction to Wellness Days. I'm your host, the other Ben Jodway, and this is Past Deadline, your behind-the-scenes look at Central Michigan life. Here's this week's news in 60 seconds. Governor Gretchen Whitmer appointed two women, Sharon Heath and Regine Beauboeuf, to CMU's Board of Trustees on March 5th. Heath is a CMU alumna, while Beauboeuf was the senior vice president of the HNTB Corporation. They will be attending their first meeting on April 21st and 22nd. CMU alumna Shauna Patterson-Stevens will be the next vice president and chief diversity officer, said CMU president Bob Davies on March 8th. This comes after A.T. Miller stepped down in August 2020, in which Stan Shingles replaced him as interim. CMU Athletic Director Amy Fullen announced on Thursday, March 11th, that the Chippewas will play at Notre Dame on Saturday. It's the first time CMU is going to that national stage. Read all these stories and more at cm-life.com. That was this week's news in 60 seconds. Up next, we talk to Patrick Bouman on the controversial Wellness Days. Hello and welcome to Past Deadline. Here we are with Patrick Bouman, who just is writing a story on student reactions to Wellness Days. He's already written at least one story on a Wellness Day that has happened, but he's currently working on a story of general student reaction to the Wellness Day. So, Patrick, could you tell me what students are thinking right now?
Yeah, so yesterday I walked around campus for the Wellness Day just to see what was going on around campus, what kind of things people were doing. And then, while I was trying to figure out what they were up to in general, I also asked them, how they feel about, having the Wellness Days instead of a spring break. A lot of, it was sort of the same general answers. People kind of appreciate the Wellness Days. Just having a break from classes is nice. But then again, almost everybody I talked to also had like assignments due either on the Wellness Day itself or like the day after. One student I talked to had a midterm to study for the next day. People weren't super crazy about them. A couple of people said that they liked them, but yeah.
Now, are teachers supposed to have work on Wellness Days?
That's a good question. I haven't actually looked into that. A lot of my professors say that they don't want us to do homework on the Wellness Days. But clearly, if there's an actual rule against that, teachers aren't following it. Like my professors will say, make sure you don't do any assignments on Wellness Day, but then they'll have stuff assigned anyways.
Yeah, what it sounded like from Davies' the Provost's first email on this was, it might have not been a rule, but it might have been a strong suggestion to not have work on Wellness Days. Obviously, you still got work to do on that, so hopefully we'll find a little bit more information on that. But also, so students have all this work due. So is Wellness Days more like a study day?
Yeah, that's. Remember, one person said that Wellness Days are basically just an extra day to do homework for them, and instead of a couple people were like adamant against not doing any homework on the Wellness Day. They were trying to take it for what it's actually meant to be, as a day off to relax and have some fun. A lot of people were out doing fun things, and they said they either had homework that they did earlier in the day or that they were going to do more homework later in the day.
Okay, have there been many activities for students to do on the Wellness Days?
I covered the last Wellness Day a couple weeks ago. They had a event in the Finch Fieldhouse Adventure Center. where students could climb the rock wall and do all the fun stuff in there. Yesterday there's some new art galleries open. Yeah, and then they also had a free painting session in the UC, and I visited that and talked to some students.
What seemed to be the highlight of the wellness days?
It seems to be the highlight. Like, you mean like what
What
stands
do
out the
students
most,
are
sort
like,
of?
this is the best part of it?
Yeah, I guess just being able to giving them more time to relax. I guess not having classes is definitely something people seem to be appreciating. Um, I don't know. A lot of student answers vary because, like I said, some people actually take the time to, go do the activities and things that are planned and walk around outside, hang out with their friends, go hammocking. But then some people just use it as an extra homework day.
Yeah, so CM Life recently published or did a survey on a student opinion on wellness days. Do you know the results for that?
Yeah, I actually have it pulled up here. They threw out a Twitter poll that as of right now, it has 128 votes. 76.6% of the respondents, I'll start over. The question of the poll was, do you feel like you're able to use wellness days as they were intended? And 76.6% of people said not at all.
Okay, was it just yes or no? Or were there more responses?
Yeah, it was like there's 4 answer choices. There was for sure, I think so, somewhat, and not at all.
So what about somewhat?
That was 15.6%.
Okay, so barely anyone is using it as an actual wellness day then.
Yeah.
Just more like a study hall and you can take a break if you want to. Okay, do you know about professor opinion?
Professor opinions. Yeah, I know a couple of professors personally that have pretty strong opinions about the wellness day. I've heard some of them say that like the wellness days are pointless, that a spring break would be a lot better. I'm actually working on setting up an interview with a professor from Ohio State University who posted on Twitter about how students need an actual spring break instead of just, I think, this is paraphrasing, but they said like instead of just a random day in the week. So, I think professors are recognizing the stress that being all online is having on students. Like when everything's online and everything's able to be online, the lines become really blurred between when you have time off and when you're supposed to be working. Like people are like on the clock all the time now. And I think, the professors I've talked to are noticing that students are stressed about this.
Do you think it should be a spring break or a wellness day for next year?
I personally want a spring break, and I think a lot of people do as well. I need time to cool down. One day for me isn't enough. Like yesterday, I was pretty busy. I had fun, but I was busy. Yeah.
I know. I think another reporter is having a story published, I think this week, on burnout, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, so obviously anyone interested in reading more about how wellness days are affecting people or affecting a lot of students here, the burnout is a perfect example of that. I know you and me are both experiencing our own share of burnout, but
Yes, we are.
we're working through it. So, do you think that student opinion on wellness days decreased over time?
That's a good question. one of the questions I asked people yesterday was what their initial reaction to when they heard that what their initial reaction was when they heard that we were going to have wellness days instead of our spring break. And some people were just like, oh man, I thought it sucked. And like, why can't we have a spring break? And now it might be a little bit shifted towards, positive towards wellness days, I think, but not much. I think people, they like having the wellness days, but they don't like why they're having the wellness days, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, as much as it's a wellness day, you still got that COVID hanging right over your head the whole time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. One of the students brought up the like Gentle Thursdays or Gentle Fridays. I'm not sure what the actual name was. Something like that. Said that they were hoping the wellness days would be more like that, where professors don't assign homework or anything.
Well, Patrick, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for
anyone
having me.
listening, any students, any faculty, can reach out to Patrick before he has to turn this in, and go ahead, tell him what you think about the wellness days. Especially if you have a lot to say, we're happy to hear it. So thank you once again, Patrick.
Yeah, you're welcome.
You've been listening to Past Deadline, a production of the CM Life Podcast Division. Every story referenced in this episode can be found at our website, cm-life.com. To keep up with us, follow us on social media at Central Michigan Life on Instagram, at CM Life on Twitter, or like and follow Central Michigan Life Facebook page. I've been your host, the other Ben Jodway, and this has been Past Deadline. Until next week, so long and stay informed.